The Watcher's fear. The vast expanse of the cosmos held countless mysteries, but none as perplexing as the behavior of the Archanids. Ancient beyond measure, the Archanids had witnessed the birth and death of countless civilizations across the galaxy. Their crystalline bodies, shimmering with the accumulated knowledge of eons, commanded respect from even the most advanced species. Yet for all their power and wisdom, these ancient beings harbored a peculiar fear, one that confounded the entire Galactic Alliance. They feared Earth. Commander Telia Chen stood before the Galactic Alliance Council, her posture rigid as she addressed the diverse assembly of representatives. Beings from across the galaxy, some humanoid, others defying simple description, gazed down at her from their elevated platforms. For centuries, we've maintained peaceful relations with nearly every sentient species in charted space, Talia said, her voice carrying through the vast chamber. Yet the Archanids, our oldest allies, refuse to engage with Earth or discuss human expansion beyond our solar system. Their star charts deliberately exclude our corner of the galaxy, and their vessels take elaborate detours to avoid human space. Council leader Xorix, a gaseous entity contained within an ornate hovering apparatus, pulsed with soft blue light. Commander Chen, we've noted this peculiarity for generations. What new information brings you before us today? Talia activated her holoprojector, displaying a three-dimensional image of an ancient Arcanid artifact recovered from the edges of human space. This recording crystal was discovered by one of our deep space mining operations. It contains fragmentary data about Earth dating back thousands of years, long before humans achieved spaceflight. The crystal's contents played before the Council, distorted images of primitive human civilization alongside mathematical equations and warning glyphs. Though partially corrupted, the message was clear. The Archanids had been observing Earth for millennia, and something about humanity terrified them. I request permission to assemble a specialized team to visit the Arcanid homeworld, Talia concluded. This millennia-old fear may pose a threat to Earth or reveal something crucial about our own species that we've yet to understand. After deliberation, the Council granted her request. Within weeks, Talia had assembled her team. Dr. Elias Okafor, Earth's leading xenoarchaeologist, Lieutenant Ryu Tanaka, a military diplomat with extensive experience in interspecies negotiations, and Vexilor, a Centaurian linguist specializing in ancient languages. Their journey to Arcania Prime took 3 months by the fastest Alliance vessel. As they approached the crystalline homeworld of the Archanids, Talia felt a growing unease. The Archanids had never denied an official Alliance delegation, yet their responses to this particular mission had been cryptic and reluctant. The team was greeted by Coralux, an Arcanid elder whose translucent body housed swirling galaxies of light, memories accumulated across 12,000 years of existence. Coralux's faceted eyes studied the humans with something akin to apprehension. You seek knowledge that was deliberately buried. The elder's thoughts resonated directly in their minds. Some truths are preserved not to hide them from others, but to protect others from them. Elias stepped forward, his dark eyes alight with scholarly passion. With respect, Elder, knowledge itself is neutral. It's how we use it that matters. A very human perspective, Coralux replied, crystal fragments shifting in what might have been amusement or anxiety. Follow, if you must. The elder led them through crystalline corridors that sang with the harmonies of stored information, eventually bringing them to an ancient archive chamber. Here, the walls themselves were data storage, etched with the collective knowledge of a species that had witnessed the formation of the Galactic Alliance itself. The Arcanid Historical Collective has agreed to share certain information, Coralux explained, but I must emphasize that what you learn here may alter your understanding of your own species in ways you cannot anticipate. Vexilor, the Centaurian linguist, ran his 6-fingered hands along the crystal walls, his bioluminescent skin pulsing with excitement. These markings, there in proto-galactic script, This section dates back nearly 50,000 years. As they delved deeper into the archives, a pattern emerged. References to Earth appeared sporadically throughout Archanid history, always accompanied by warning symbols and mathematical equations that Talia's team struggled to interpret. The earliest mentions dated back to when humans were still learning to create fire. Elias discovered a sealed chamber, its entrance marked with the symbol they'd come to recognize as representing Earth. Inside, they found a simulation room, a technology the Archanids used to preserve experiential knowledge. This repository contains the collective observations of Earth spanning 40,000 years. Coralux explained reluctantly, "I must warn you, experiencing these memories directly may be disturbing." "We need to understand," Talia insisted. The Elder activated the simulation. Suddenly, they were floating above ancient Earth, watching through Archanid eyes as primitive humans battled each other and their environment. The perspective shifted rapidly through time. Civilizations rose and fell, technologies advanced and were lost. Wars ravaged the landscape only for humans to rebuild with stubborn determination. "I don't understand," Lieutenant Tanaka said as the simulation paused. "This shows nothing extraordinary, just human history with its usual conflicts and advancements." "That is precisely what terrifies us," Coralux responded. "Watch more carefully." The simulation continued, focusing now on patterns rather than events. It highlighted human adaptability, the species' remarkable ability to thrive in virtually any environment. It showed humans absorbing catastrophic losses yet continuing forward. Most concerning to the Archanids, it demonstrated humanity's unique capacity for cognitive leaps, connections of ideas that defied logical progression. "Every species follows predictable evolutionary paths," Coralux explained. The Centaurians developed bioluminescence to communicate in their dense forests. The Pteryxians evolved gaseous forms to survive their turbulent atmospheric conditions. Even we Archanids evolved our crystalline structures to preserve knowledge through our planet's intense radiation cycles. But humans, the Elder's voice trailed off. "We evolved too quickly," Elias whispered, understanding dawning on his face. "Our adaptations don't follow standard evolutionary timelines." "Precisely," Coralux confirmed. "Your species makes evolutionary leaps that should take millions of years in mere millennia. Your brains particularly. They shouldn't be capable of the abstract thinking they demonstrate. It defies all known principles of gradual evolution." Talia struggled to process this information. "Are you saying humans are unnatural?" "Not unnatural," the Elder corrected. "Unique. Potentially dangerous. There is something about your planet, your species, that accelerates development in ways we cannot explain with our science. And what cannot be explained cannot be predicted or controlled." Vexlor completed the thought. The simulation shifted again, showing mathematical models predicting human development over the next 1,000 years. The projections showed capabilities that surpass even the Archanids' ancient technology. "This is why you've isolated Earth," Talia realized. "You're not afraid of what we are now. You're afraid of what we're becoming." Coralux's crystalline structure dimmed slightly. "We have observed over 70 million species across the galaxy. All follow predictable patterns, except humans. Your potential is unlimited, and unlimited potential, unchecked, could destabilize the galactic balance we've maintained for eons." As they emerged from the simulation chamber, Talia felt the weight of this revelation. The Archanids hadn't avoided Earth out of malice or superiority. They had done so out of genuine concern for galactic stability. Their research continued through the Archanid archives, uncovering references to something called the Catalyst, an ancient force or entity somehow connected to Earth. The references were fragmentary, deliberately obscured, as if the Archanids themselves feared the knowledge. "There is more," Coralux finally admitted after days of research. "But to learn it, you must travel to the observatory. It is there that our ancestors first discovered the truth about Earth, a truth so profound that sharing it directly might itself trigger what we have long feared. As their ship prepared to depart for this mysterious observatory, Talia gazed out at the crystalline spires of Arcania Prime. The Arcanids had shaped galactic civilization for countless millennia, yet they feared the potential of a species that had only recently learned to split the atom. What power did humanity unknowingly possess, and would discovering it fulfill the Arcanids' ancient fears? The answers awaited them at the observatory, and with them, perhaps, the future of humanity's place among the stars. The awakening. The journey to the observatory took them through uncharted regions of space, far from established alliance routes. Cora Lux accompanied them, the Elder's crystalline form pulsing with nervous energy as their ship navigated the stellar currents of the Vesper Nebula. The observatory was built 19,000 years ago, Cora Lux explained as their vessel approached a massive structure orbiting a neutron star. After the event, Talia studied the enigmatic construction through the viewscreen. Unlike the elegant crystalline architecture typical of Arcanid design, the observatory appeared almost crude, a sprawling complex of dark metal and stone anchored to a small moonlet. It looked more like a fortress than a scientific installation. "What event?" Lieutenant Tanaka asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. Cora Lux's form dimmed slightly. "That is what you are here to learn." The observatory's docking bay accepted their ship with ancient, grinding mechanisms. As they disembarked, Talia noticed the unusual thickness of the walls, layers upon layers of various materials, some of which her scanners couldn't even identify. This facility is shielded against every known form of detection and observation, the Elder explained. What happens here cannot be perceived from anywhere else in the galaxy. Dr. Okafor ran his hand along one wall, his scientific curiosity piqued. These materials, some of them appear to block quantum entanglement itself. You've created a true blind spot in the universe. A necessary precaution, Cora Lux replied enigmatically. They were led through corridors that seemed designed to disorient, eventually reaching the heart of the observatory, a cavernous chamber dominated by what appeared to be an ancient telescope. But this was no ordinary viewing device. Instead of lenses, it used a complex array of crystalline matrices and energy fields to observe something beyond normal spacetime. This is a continuum aperture, Cora Lux explained. It allows us to observe not just distant space, but the underlying fabric of reality itself. Vexlor, the Centaurian linguist, studied the controls with fascination. These symbols, they predate even proto-galactic script. This technology must be at least 50,000 years old. Older, the Elder corrected. The aperture was not built by us, but discovered. We merely learned to use it. At the Elder's gesture, the ancient machine hummed to life. Energy coursed through the crystalline matrices, and the center of the chamber filled with a three-dimensional projection of the galaxy. As they watched, the image zoomed in on a familiar spiral arm, then a particular star system. Sol, Earth appeared before them, but not as they knew it. This representation showed Earth surrounded by a complex web of energy patterns that extended far beyond its physical boundaries. These patterns pulsed and shifted in rhythms that seemed almost alive. "What are we seeing?" Talia asked, mesmerized by the display. "Reality as it truly exists," Cora Lux answered. "What you perceive as physical matter and energy is merely the surface of a much deeper structure. This deeper reality is what the aperture reveals." Dr. Okafor stepped closer, his scientific mind struggling to process the implications. "These patterns around Earth, they don't exist around other planets." "No," the Elder confirmed. "Your world is unique in the galaxy, perhaps in the universe. It exists at what our ancestors called a cosmic nexus point, a convergence of dimensional forces that imbues your planet with properties that defy conventional understanding." The image shifted again, focusing now on humanity itself. Each human appeared surrounded by their own intricate web of energy, interacting with Earth's larger patterns in ways that seemed to amplify and reshape both. 19,000 years ago, our scientists discovered something alarming. Coralux continued. Human consciousness itself interacts with these nexus energies. Your thoughts, your creative processes, your leaps of intuition, they don't merely happen within your brains, they ripple through the deeper structure of reality itself. Lieutenant Tanaka frowned. Are you suggesting humans have some kind of psychic ability? Not in the simplified way your fiction portrays such things, the elder clarified. But in a fundamental sense, yes. Your consciousness can affect reality at a quantum level far more efficiently than any other species we've encountered. Your collective beliefs, focused intentions, and creative imagination can literally reshape the probability matrix of your surrounding environment. Talia struggled to process this revelation. But we've never observed such abilities. Because they operate beneath your level of perception, Coralux explained. Your scientists attribute these effects to coincidence, statistical anomalies, or unknown variables. Your quantum physicists have glimpsed aspects of it in their experiments. What they call the observer effect is merely the surface of this phenomenon. The elder manipulated the controls, and the display shifted to historical scenes, pivotal moments in human history, where improbable events had changed the course of development. Battles won against overwhelming odds, scientific breakthroughs that seemed to come from nowhere. Survival despite catastrophic circumstances. These were not luck, Coralux stated. They were unconscious manifestations of humanity's unique relationship with the cosmic nexus. When enough humans believe something is possible, when enough creative energy focuses on a particular outcome, the very fabric of probability begins to bend in that direction. This is why you fear us, Dr. Okafor realized. Not because of our technology or aggression, but because we unconsciously reshape reality itself. And you are entirely unaware of it, the elder added. A species with such power, operating on instinct rather than understanding, is unpredictable, dangerous. Vexilor had been studying the ancient controls, his translator working to decipher the symbols. These records indicate an event 19,000 years ago, a catastrophic reality distortion centered on Earth. Coralux's crystalline form dimmed to near darkness. The event, a collective belief crisis among early humans, created a cascading quantum instability that nearly tore apart the dimensional boundaries in your solar system. Our ancestors detected it too late to intervene. They could only observe as reality itself warped around your planet. What happened? Talia asked. Your ancestors, without understanding what they had done, somehow stabilized the distortion. But the event left scars in the dimensional fabric, scars we monitor to this day, fearing they might reopen. The implications stunned the human members of the team into silence. Their entire understanding of themselves, of human history and potential, was being fundamentally challenged. Why show us this now? Lieutenant Tanaka finally asked. If this knowledge is so dangerous, why reveal it? Before Coralux could answer, alarms blared throughout the observatory. A younger arcanid rushed into the chamber, crystal form flashing with urgent pulses of light. Elder, we have detected a dimensional breach near Earth. The patterns matched those from the event. The display shifted automatically, showing Earth once more. The energy patterns surrounding the planet were in chaos, rippling with increasing intensity. Data streams indicated that the disturbance had begun shortly after their departure from Earth, as if their investigation itself had somehow triggered what the arcanids had long feared. This is unprecedented, Coralux whispered. The dimensional fabric is destabilizing much faster than our models predicted. What does that mean? Talia demanded. Fear for her homeworld evident Tetraclaude hit the max length for a message and has paused its response. You can write continue to keep the chat going.